Smiling in public, breaking in private, we've all done it. That perfect smile, flawless, practice, convincing, but behind it, storms, silent wars, the kind that bruise your soul, not your skin. Let's talk about it. Not with pity, with power. We've all been there, standing in a room full of people, laughter echoing around us, while our insides feel like glass. We smile because that's what's expected. We nod, we joke, we shine. But deep down, there's a quiet ache we keep hidden behind that perfect expression. We've been trained to wear it like armor. We've learned to mask exhaustion with charm, pain with politeness, and loneliness with a curated image of control. But what if I told you? Strength is not in pretending everything's fine. Strength begins the moment you stop performing and start feeling. We are masters of the mask. We wear it to work, to dinners, to family gatherings, and even to bed. That mask has survived heartbreaks, disappointments, betrayals. It's the version of us that says, I'm good really, when we're breaking inside. We've worn it for so long that sometimes we forget what our real face looks like. We smile when we want to scream. We comfort others when we can barely breathe. And yet, the world calls that composure. They call it grace under pressure. But let's be honest, grace is not silence. Grace is resilience with honesty. It's saying, I'm hurting but I'm here. It's choosing truth over performance. It's the courage to admit that the mask may protect you, but it also suffocates you. We live in a culture that romanticizes strength as being unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. We're taught that emotion equals weakness, that tears are liability. So we swallow our pain until it hardens into perfection. We polish our lives for the world to see and hide the cracks that make us human. We tell ourselves that vulnerability is a luxury we can't afford. But the truth, the cracks are where the light gets in. The pain you hide is not a flaw. It's evidence that you feel deeply, that you care, that you've lived. The world doesn't need another unbreakable person. It needs people brave enough to admit they've been broken and still choose to rise. Behind every flawless smile is a story of nights when you couldn't sleep because your thoughts were too loud, days when you had to show up and perform because you didn't have the privilege to fall apart, moments when you looked at yourself in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. You tell yourself, it's fine, I'll get through it. And you do because that's who you are, you survive. But surviving isn't the same as living. You weren't born to simply endure, you were born to evolve. And evolution requires honesty. It demands you strip off the illusion of I'm fine and say I'm not fine, but I'm still standing. That's not weakness, that's revolution. The hardest part isn't smiling when you're breaking. The hardest part is allowing yourself to stop smiling, to drop the performance, to say I'm tired, to give yourself permission to not be okay for once. It's terrifying because it means letting go of control, the thing that has kept you safe. But control is not peace. It's just a tighter kind of fear. When you start showing up as your real self, raw, messy, emotional, you begin to breathe again. You begin to connect. You stop chasing the illusion of being put together and start building a life that feels like you. Not the you the world applauds. The you who feels deeply, who breaks, who rebuilds, who refuses to give up. And when you remove that mask, something magical happens. You realize you're not alone. Everyone around you, the people you thought had it all together, they're fighting their own quiet wars too. The friend who always looks radiant might be nursing invisible wounds. The co-worker who seems unshakable might cry in their car before work. We are all just trying to balance who we show to the world with who we truly are inside. And where one of us chooses to be real, it gives permission for others to do the same. Honesty creates connection. Connection builds healing. And healing, real healing, doesn't happen behind a mask. It happens in the open, in the messy, in the moments where you finally say, I'm not okay, and someone answers, me too. The truth is, we can't keep smiling through the storm forever. At some point, we have to face it. To look at the version of ourselves that's been hiding behind the laughter and say, I see you, I'm ready to heal you. Because healing doesn't start with pretending. It starts with truth. You don't need to be flawless to be powerful. You just need to be real. The most beautiful kind of strength isn't loud, isn't perfect. It's the quiet decision to show up exactly as you are, with your scars, your softness, your humanity intact. That's where true courage lives. That's where transformation begins. So yes, we smile in public, but we can no longer afford to break in private. We deserve to be whole. We deserve to be seen. We deserve to live lives that are as real as they are beautiful. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more honest ones. It needs more of you. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. Every scroll, every feed, every advertisement whispers the same story. You must look flawless. You must appear happy. You must perform life as if it's seamless. And we listen. We edit ourselves to fit the narrative. We adjust our smiles to look effortless. We craft social media moments that are curated, filtered, polished. We forget that life is rarely picture perfect. The obsession with perfection isn't just external. It burrows into our minds, telling us that who we are naturally is not enough. That aching feeling in your chest, that quiet dissatisfaction, that's the cost of performing perfection. We chase the image of enough while slowly starving the soul of authenticity. We tell ourselves lies to survive in this culture. If I look happy, maybe I'll feel happy. If I smile enough, maybe the sadness will disappear. But those are illusions. Happiness cannot be faked. Strength cannot be worn as a costume. When we live in the pursuit of perfection, we lose touch with reality. We sacrifice our messy, beautiful, complicated humanity for a curated illusion, and the world applauds us for it. The world tells us we're successful, we're strong, we're fine. But inside, we know the truth. We are exhausted from maintaining an image that isn't ours. We are weighed down by the expectation that to be worthy, to be loved, we must never falter, never cry, never admit the truth of our struggle. Perfection is a performance, and performances are expensive. The cost is more than sleepless nights or constant comparison. It is the erosion of self. We stop trusting our instincts. We second-guess our emotions. We start to believe that if our internal world does not match the external one, we are failing. We silence our doubts, our fears, our desires, and in doing so, we silence ourselves. The perfection we chase isn't about excellence, it's about acceptance. But acceptance that is bought through hiding, lying, and overperforming is hollow. It cannot sustain a life. It cannot sustain a heart. And one day, no matter how flawless the exterior, the cracks begin to show. Yet the pursuit of perfection is seductive. It promises control in a chaotic world. It whispers, if I can manage how I look, how I act, how I appear, I can manage life itself. And we believe it. We color our stories to make them palatable. We erase our pain. We adjust our actions so no one notices the chaos under the surface. And yes, it works temporarily. The world sees a strong, composed, together person. But this illusion is a trap. Because life is not controlled. Life does not conform to the image we craft. Life will hit us with heartbreak, with loss, with betrayal, and suddenly all the careful editing, all the rehearsed smiles, all the curated perfectio. N means nothing. What matters then is not the image. It is the reality we have avoided. There is a paradox in this obsession with perfection. The more we chase it, the more fragile we become. When perfection is the goal, any failure feels catastrophic. Any small misstep feels like proof that we are not enough. Anxiety creeps in. Depression lingers. We feel constantly on edge, knowing that even a fleeting moment of authenticity can ruin the illusion we've spent years building. And so we hide further. We perform more meticulously, and the cycle repeats. But the irony is clear. Perfection, pursued at the cost of authenticity, is the very thing that erodes our sense of self-worth. The mask becomes a prison, and the longer we wear it, the less we recognize the person inside. The escape from this trap is radical honesty. It begins with the courage to admit that life is messy, that we are flawed, that perfection is a myth. It is the courage to show our true selves, to allow our cracks to be seen, to embrace the chaos inside. When we stop performing, we begin to breathe. When we allow ourselves to feel fully, we begin to heal. When we reject the false promise of perfection, we reclaim the power that comes from being real. And here's the truth. The world does not need perfect people. The world does not need flawless smiles or curated images. The world needs authentic ones. People willing to be seen, to be vulnerable, to be human. Because in our imperfections, we find connection, freedom, and true strength. Perfection is not the goal. Authenticity is. Stop performing, stop hiding, and start living fully. The world doesn't need more flawless masks. It needs more honest hearts. It needs more of you, unfiltered, unapologetic, and real. Breaking doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you alive. There is a myth that to be strong, you must be unshakable, that to survive, you cannot allow yourself to crumble. But the truth is far more profound. Every time you feel yourself breaking, every time the weight of the world seems unbearable, your soul is speaking to you. It is reminding you that you are not a machine. You are not designed to carry everything without faltering. Breaking is not failure. It is proof that you are feeling, that you are engaging fully with life, that you are refusing to numb yourself to the world. And it is in those moments of fracture that the seeds of transformation are planted. Every breakdown carries a message. Sometimes the world is too loud, too harsh, too unforgiving. Sometimes the heart bears wounds that words cannot describe. And when you break, your body and mind are telling you something essential. It is time to pause. It is time to acknowledge the pain. It is time to rebuild. These moments are not setbacks. They are invitations. Invitations to examine your life, to confront the truths you have been avoiding, to face the parts of yourself that you have hidden behind smiles and appearances. Breaking forces introspection, and introspection is the birthplace of growth, resilience, and self-discovery. Breaking is not a sign of weakness, it is a stage of renewal. Think of a tree in a storm. The branches bend, the roots tremble, the leaves scatter. And yet, after the storm, the tree is stronger for having weathered it. So it is with us. The moments when we feel most shattered are also the moments when we gain clarity about what matters most. We discover what we are capable of enduring, what we are capable of forgiving, and what we are capable of becoming. Breaking is painful, yes, but it is not destructive, it is transformative. Each fracture is an opportunity to reconstruct yourself, piece by piece, with intention and courage. The act of breaking also exposes the illusion of control. We spend so much of our lives trying to manage outcomes, to appear composed, to perform for others. But life is not predictable. Pain comes uninvited, disappointment arrives without warning, and loss finds its way even into tea. He best laid plans. And when it does, the carefully constructed facade we call strength crumbles. This is the paradox. We think we are preparing ourselves for life by controlling it, but the truth is that true preparation comes from accepting that we will break, and from learning to rise from it. Strength is not the absence of breaking, it is the ability to navigate it, to feel it fully, and to emerge wiser and more resilient. Breaking also teaches empathy and connection. When we are honest about our struggles, we allow others to see themselves in our story. We stop pretending that life is flawless and open the door for shared humanity. There is an incredible power in saying, "I am broken right now," and having someone respond, "Me too." This is the foundation of trust, intimacy, and community. By breaking, we no longer exist in isolation. We become part of a larger human experience, one where vulnerability is not weakness but a bridge to understanding, compassion, and love. To break in private is to deny the world the chance to witness the courage that resides in authenticity. Finally, breaking is the gateway to rising. The most powerful transformations are born from moments of collapse. When you allow yourself to feel the full intensity of your pain, you tap into a reservoir of inner strength you may never have known existed. The rebuilding process demands self-reflection, determination, and courage, and it is in this process that you truly find yourself. The life you construct after breaking is not merely a return to the old, it is a rebirth into a stronger, more resilient, more authentic version of you. Every crack you thought would shatter you becomes a channel for light, wisdom, and power. Breaking is not the end, transforming private pain into shared resilience. The courage to be seen also challenges societal norms. We live in a culture that rewards performance, perfection, and composure. People are praised for masking struggles, for maintaining an image of control, for projecting unshakable confidence. And yet, those who dare to be real, who dare to admit that life is messy, who dare to show their pain alongside their joy, are the ones who inspire others. To be seen is a radical act because it defies expectation. It says, I am more than your perception of me. I am flawed, I am fragile, I am growing, and I refuse to hide. That defiance, that willingness to be human in a world that rewards appearances is revolutionary. Being seen also requires resilience. To expose your truth is to risk rejection, misunderstanding, or criticism. It is to step into the world without guarantees, trusting that your honesty is enough, even when others may falter in their response. This resilience is built through experience, through small acts of openness, through repeated moments of self-expression, through learning that even when the world does not validate your struggles, your own acknowledgement of them is sufficient. True courage does not wait for permission. It steps forward, knowing that being seen is its own reward, independent of external approval. Finally, the courage to be seen transforms both the self and the world. When you allow yourself to be visible, your story becomes a beacon for others. Your authenticity empowers others to drop their masks, to confront their own fears, and to embrace their humanity. The act of showing up, fully and truthfully, creates ripples far beyond what you can measure. You become part of a larger narrative of honesty, courage, and connection. In embracing vulnerability, you find strength. In showing your true self, you inspire others to do the same. And in this shared courage, humanity becomes not a performance, but a collective journey of growth, understanding, and resilience. The courage to be seen is the courage to be real. It is the power to embrace vulnerability, to connect deeply, and to live authentically. When you dare to be seen, you light the path not only for yourself, but for everyone brave enough to witness your truth. You are not the version of yourself that the world edited to be palatable. From a young age, society teaches us to shape ourselves into something digestible, someone likable, someone admired, someone safe. We are told to hide anger, suppress tears, and refine our words and actions until we are neat, presentable, and acceptable. And for years, we do exactly that. We become experts at editing ourselves for approval, crafting personas that meet expectations while silently starving the authentic self within. But here's the truth. The person you were born to be is not flawed. The version the world tries to mold is. True power begins the moment you reclaim yourself from the filters and the performative scripts imposed upon you. Every time you apologize for feeling, you diminish your own power.